Ambassador Jiwon walked through the metal halls of the space station called Harmony's Edge. Her black shoes made soft sounds on the floor as she moved toward the big meeting room. The station floated in empty space around a dead star that gave no light. It was the perfect place for secret talks. Jiwon had been doing this job for 10 years. She knew how to read faces and voices. She could tell when someone was lying or hiding something. Today something felt wrong. The alien representatives had been too friendly, too eager to agree with everything she said. The meeting room was huge and round. 3 large tables sat in a triangle shape. At one table sat the Velathi, who looked like walking crystals that changed colors when they talked. Their leader was called High Crystal Vextar. At the second table were the Thrix, giant insects with 6 arms and eyes like black stones. Their queen was named Hive Mother Zilneth. The third table held the Corvian Empire representatives, beings made of pure energy that glowed inside metal suits. Their speaker was called Energy Lord Nalgor. All 3 races had been fighting each other for 30 years. Billions had died. Whole planets had been destroyed. Now they said they wanted peace, and they asked humans to help make it happen. The humans are perfect for this job, High Crystal Vextar had said when the talks began 3 weeks ago. You are neutral. You have no side in our war. Jiwon knew that was not the whole truth. The aliens thought humans were weak and simple. They saw Earth's technology and laughed. They looked at human ships and called them toys. What they did not know was that humans had been watching them for a long time. Admiral Minho stood at the big window that showed the stars outside. He was in charge of the human ships that came to protect the peace talks. His face looked calm, but Jiwon could see worry in his eyes. He had fought in wars before humans met aliens. He understood battles and danger. How many ships did each side bring? Jiwon asked him quietly. They each said 5 escort ships, Minho replied. But our sensors show more ships coming. Many more. Captain Hyunjin was checking the security systems for the 100th time that day. She was young but very smart about computers and machines. Her fingers moved fast across the control screen as she watched for any signs of trouble. The energy readings are getting stronger, Hyunjin said. Whatever is coming, it is big. Salmon sat at her communication desk listening to radio signals from all over the galaxy. She spoke 12 alien languages and could understand their secret codes. Her job was to help humans and aliens talk to each other, but today she was hearing things that scared her. Ambassador, Soman called softly. I am picking up military signals. The 3 fleets are talking to each other, but not to us. Jiwon felt her stomach get tight. She had suspected this for days. The peace talks were going too well. The aliens were agreeing to things they would never normally accept. They were acting like they did not care about the details of the agreement. She thought about the peace plan she had worked on for months. It was fair to all sides. It would stop the fighting and help rebuild the destroyed worlds. It would save millions of lives. But now she realized the aliens had never planned to sign it. The meeting started again after lunch. Jiwon sat at the human table and looked at each alien group. High Crystal Vextar's colors were bright and happy. Hive Mother Zilneth's antenna moved in ways that meant joy in Thrix body language. Energy Lord Nalgor's glow was steady and peaceful. We have reviewed your final proposal, High Crystal Vextar said in his musical voice. The Velathi Collective accepts all terms. The Thrix Swarm also agrees, said Hive Mother Zilneth through her translator device. The Corvian Empire finds these terms acceptable. Energy Lord Nalgor added. Jiwon should have been happy. 3 years of planning had led to this moment. The galaxy's biggest war was about to end, but instead she felt like ice was growing in her chest. That is wonderful news, she said, keeping her voice steady. Shall we begin the signing ceremony tomorrow? Yes, all 3 aliens said at the same time. That was when Jiwon knew for certain. In 30 years of war, these 3 races had never agreed on anything. They hated each other more than anything else in the galaxy. They would not suddenly agree on a peace plan, even a good one, unless they had a different plan. After the meeting ended, Jiwon called her team together in their private room. Admiral Minho, Captain Hyunjin, and Somin all looked worried. They are going to attack us, Jiwon said simply. When? Asked Minho. Probably right after the fake signing ceremony, Jiwon replied. They want us to think everything is normal until the last moment. Hyunjin's fingers flew over her computer screen. I count at least 50 ships from each fleet now. That is 3 times what they said they would bring. Why would they want to hurt us? Soman asked. We are just trying to help. Because we have seen too much, Ji-won explained. During these talks, we have learned about their weapons, their ship designs, their military secrets. They think we are too dangerous to leave alive. Admiral Minho stood up and walked to the window again. Outside, the stars looked peaceful and quiet. But somewhere in that darkness, enemy ships were moving closer. They think humans are weak, he said. They think we are no threat to them. That is their mistake, Ji-won said. They do not know what humans can do when we are threatened. Should we try to escape? Asked Hyun-jin. No, Ji-won shook her head. They have too many ships. We cannot outrun them all, but we can make sure Earth knows what happened here. She looked at each member of her team. These people had become like family to her over the past 3 weeks. They had worked together to try to bring peace to the galaxy. Now they might all die because the aliens feared human knowledge. Soman, prepare a message to Earth, Ji-won ordered. Tell them everything we have learned. Every ship design, every weapon type, every tactical mistake we have seen. Make sure they know this attack was planned. Hyunjin, I want you to record everything that happens. Every conversation, every attack pattern, every violation of galactic law. Admiral, how long can our ships hold them off? Minho thought for a moment. Maybe an hour if we are lucky. Our escort ships are good, but we are heavily outnumbered. Ji-won nodded. Then we have 1 hour to make sure our deaths mean something. Outside the window, the dead star gave no warmth or light. But somewhere in human space, other humans would soon learn what happened at Harmony's Edge. And when they did, the galaxy would discover that killing human diplomats was the worst mistake the aliens could ever make. The peace talks had failed before they truly began, but the war that would follow would be unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The attack began at dawn, ship time. Captain Hyun-jin was at her security station when the first explosion shook Harmony's Edge. Red lights flashed all over her control board. Warning sounds filled the air. Through the station's thick metal walls, she could hear the deep rumble of ship engines and weapon fire. All human staff to emergency stations, she called over the communication system. Her voice stayed calm even though her heart was beating fast. Lieutenant Do-yoon ran to the defense control room. He was young and had never been in a real battle before. His hand shook as he tried to turn on the station's weapon systems. The station had some guns, but they were old and weak. They were meant to fight off pirates, not whole fleets. Defense systems online, he reported. But we have a big problem. I count 150 enemy ships out there. Through the main window, Admiral Minho watched his small human fleet try to fight the alien attack. His 5 escort ships looked tiny next to the massive alien war vessels. The human ships moved fast and shot well, but there were too many enemies. The Velati ships looked like flying crystals that shot beams of pure light. The Thrix vessels were dark and shaped like their insect builders, with weapons that fired streams of acid that could eat through metal. The Corvian ships glowed bright and used energy weapons that could turn a ship into dust in seconds. Human fleet is taking heavy damage, reported the communications officer. The destroyer Braveheart has lost its main engines. The cruiser New Soul is on fire. Dr. Neon was in the medical center getting ready for wounded people. She had been a military doctor before becoming a diplomat's medical officer. She knew what war looked like. She had bandages, medicine, and emergency tools ready. The first injured people arrived quickly. A maintenance worker had burns from an explosion. A security guard had cuts from flying metal. Then more people came and more. The outer hull has been damaged, she told her medical assistant. The air recycling system is failing in sections C and D. Engineer Tae-hyung was deep inside the station, trying to fix the power systems. Every time the station was hit by enemy fire, more systems failed. The lights went on and off. The gravity generator made strange noises. The air cleaning machine stopped working. I can keep the main power running, he said into his radio. But the defense guns are using too much energy. If I keep them running, life support will fail. Keep life support working, Admiral Minho ordered. The guns are not stopping them anyway. Outside, the battle was going badly for the humans. The escort ship Mountain Wind exploded in a ball of fire and metal. The River Song was cut in half by a Velothi light beam. Only 3 human ships were still fighting. In the diplomatic quarters, Yeji hid under a table as the station shook and twisted around her. She was the youngest member of the human team, just 22 years old. This was her first assignment away from Earth. She had been excited to help make peace in the galaxy. Now she was watching that dream die in fire and violence. Ambassador Ji-won found her there. Yeji, I need you to do something very important. What can I do? Yeji asked. Her voice was quiet and scared. You know the hidden communication room on Deck 7? Yeji nodded. Every human station had secret communication systems that only humans knew about. It was old military policy from Earth's violent past. I need you to get there and send a message to Earth. Tell them everything that has happened. Show them the recordings of the aliens using banned weapons against civilian targets. Yeji looked confused. What about you? What about the others? Jiwon's face was sad but determined. We will hold them off as long as we can, but you need to get that message out. The people of Earth need to know what really happened here. Another explosion shook the station. This one was bigger and closer. Parts of the ceiling fell down. The lights went out for several seconds before coming back on dimly. The alien boarding ships are attaching to airlocks, Captain Hyunjin reported. They are coming inside the station. Lieutenant Do-yun grabbed his weapon and ran toward the main airlock. He had 6 security guards with him. They were good fighters, but they were not soldiers. The aliens coming through those airlocks were trained warriors who had been fighting wars for decades. The first airlock door exploded inward. Thrick soldiers poured through, their 6 arms carrying different weapons. They moved like deadly insects, fast and coordinated. Their black eyes showed no mercy. Fire, Do-hyun shouted. The human weapons shot streams of energy that knocked down several Thrick soldiers. But more kept coming, and behind them came Velothi crystal warriors whose bodies could change shape to avoid bullets. And behind them came Corvian energy beings in armor that could not be damaged by normal weapons. Dr. Nyan heard the fighting coming closer to the medical center. She gathered her wounded patients and moved them to the most protected room she could find. Some of the injured people could not be moved safely. She stayed with them knowing she might die. Doctor, called a wounded security guard. Maybe you should run. I am a doctor, Nayeon replied simply. I do not leave my patients. Engineer Taehyung was still deep in the station's machinery when the alien soldiers found him. He was trying to destroy the station's computer systems, so the aliens could not steal human technology secrets. His fingers moved fast across the control panels, erasing files and destroying data. A Velothi crystal soldier appeared behind him. Its arm changed into a sharp blade that glowed with deadly light. Stop what you are doing, human, it commanded. Taehyung did not stop. He kept working, destroying more files. Make me, he said. The crystal blade went through his chest. Taehyung fell forward onto the control panel. But his last action was to hit the emergency destruction button. Every computer in the station began erasing itself. Yeji ran through the station's dark corridors toward the hidden communication room. Behind her, she could hear the sounds of battle getting closer. Explosions, weapon fire, and the screams of dying people echoed through the metal halls. She reached the secret room and locked the door behind her. Her hand shook as she turned on the communication equipment. This system could send messages across the galaxy instantly, but it used a lot of power. The station's failing systems might not support it for long. Earth Command, this is Yeji broadcasting from Harmony's Edge, she said into the microphone. The peace talks were a trap. All 3 alien fleets have attacked the station. They are using banned weapons against civilian targets. They are killing diplomats and medical staff. She began uploading all the recordings they had made. Video of the aliens planning their attack. Audio of them laughing about killing humans. Technical data about their weapons and ships. Evidence that this was not a sudden decision but a carefully planned massacre. The door behind her began to glow red hot. The aliens were cutting through it with their weapons. The aliens think humans are weak, Yeji continued. They think we will not fight back. They are wrong. Tell Earth what happened here. Tell them the galaxy chose war instead of peace. The door exploded inward. Alien soldiers rushed into the room. But Yeji had finished sending her message. Earth would know the truth. She stood up and faced the aliens with dignity. I am a diplomat, she said clearly. Under galactic law you cannot harm me, the alien commander laughed. Galactic law does not protect humans anymore. Outside the station, the last human ship was destroyed. Admiral Minho's flagship, the Iron Will, broke apart under massive enemy fire. The explosion lit up the dark space around the dead star. Inside the station, the fighting continued for another hour. The humans fought bravely, but they were heavily outnumbered. One by one, the human defenders fell. Dr. Nayeon died protecting her patients. Captain Hyunjin died at her security station, still trying to help others escape. Lieutenant Do-yun died fighting Thrick soldiers in the main corridor. Ambassador Jiwan was one of the last humans alive. She stood in the main meeting room where the peace talks had been held just hours before. The three alien leaders stood before her, their weapons pointed at her heart. "You could have just agreed to stay quiet," High Crystal Vextar said. "We would have let you live if you had promised to forget what you learned here." "Humans do not make deals with murderers," Jiwan replied. "Then humans will die," said Hive Mother Zilneth. Jiwan smiled, even though she knew she was about to die. "You have made a terrible mistake. You think killing us will solve your problem, but humans have long memories, and we never forgive those who kill our diplomats." Energy Lord Nalgor raised his weapon. "Humans are weak. You will do nothing." "We will see," Jiwan said. Those were her last words. When it was over, Harmony's Edge was silent. All the humans were dead. The station was damaged and empty. The three alien fleets began to leave, confident that they had solved their human problem. But far away on Earth, Yeji's message had been received. And the human race was about to show the galaxy what happened when you murdered their peacemakers. The message reached Earth 3 days after the massacre at Harmony's Edge. President Ji-hoon sat in his office in the Global Defense Center, watching Yeji's final transmission for the 5th time. Her young face filled the screen, scared but brave. Behind her voice, he could hear the sounds of battle and death. "The aliens think humans are weak," Yeji said on the recording. "They think we will not fight back. They are wrong." Ji-hoon turned off the screen and looked out his window at the city of New Geneva below. People walked on the streets, went to work, lived their normal lives. They did not know yet that everything was about to change. General Kyung-soo entered the office without knocking. His face was hard as stone. "Sir, we have confirmed it. All human personnel at Harmony's Edge are dead. The 3 alien fleets worked together to destroy the station and kill our people." "How many?" Ji-hoon asked quietly. 237 humans, Kyung-soo replied. "Diplomats, security staff, engineers, medical personnel. They killed everyone, including the wounded." Ji-hoon felt something cold and angry grow in his chest. For 50 years, humans had tried to be good neighbors in the galaxy. They had shared their technology, helped solve disputes, and offered friendship to alien races. And this was how the galaxy repaid them. "What are our options?" he asked. General Kyung-soo placed a thick folder on the president's desk. "We have been preparing for this day since first contact with alien races. Our military planners always knew that peace might not last." He opened the folder and showed maps of the galaxy. Red marks showed human colonies and bases. Blue marks showed alien military targets. Yellow marks showed secret human facilities that the aliens did not know existed. "Operation Silent Thunder has been ready for 20 years, Kyung-soo explained. "If the aliens ever betrayed us, we would respond with overwhelming force." Dr. Yoonji was called to the meeting. She was the head of human weapons research and had been working on secret projects for decades. She was small and quiet, but her mind held some of the most dangerous knowledge in human space. "Doctor, how long do we need to prepare?" President Ji-hoon asked. "The weapons are ready now," she replied simply. "We have been testing them in secret for years. The aliens have no idea what human technology can really do." "Show me," Ji-hoon ordered. Dr. Yoonji activated a holographic display in the center of the room. It showed a human ship that looked normal from the outside, but as the image changed, it revealed the true design inside. "This is the stealth destroyer Ghostwind," she explained. "The aliens think our ships are weak because we let them think that. In reality, our newest ships can become invisible to all known sensors. They can appear anywhere in the galaxy without being detected." The image changed to show a new type of weapon. "These are quantum disruptor cannons. They can destroy a ship by breaking apart the very atoms that make it. One shot can turn a battleship into space dust." General Kyung-soo pointed to another part of the display. "We have hidden bases in 23 star systems. The aliens think we only live on Earth and 12 colony worlds. They are wrong. We have been secretly building military bases for decades." President Ji-hoon studied the information carefully. The scale of the secret preparations was enormous. Humanity had spent billions of credits and countless hours preparing for a war they hoped would never come. "How many people know about this?" he asked. "Less than 1,000 humans," Kyung-soo replied. "Everyone involved signed lifetime secrecy agreements. The alien intelligence networks never found out." 2 agents entered the room. Dongmin and Suho looked like normal humans, but they had been living among aliens for years. They spoke alien languages perfectly and understood alien cultures better than most aliens did. Agents, report on enemy capabilities, Jihoon ordered. Dongmin spoke first. The Velothi Collective has 87 military bases and 500 warships. Their main weakness is their dependence on crystal energy sources that come from only 3 planets. Suho continued the briefing. The Thrix swarm has 300 planets, but most of their ships are old and slow. They rely on numbers rather than technology. Their command system is very rigid. If you kill the queen, the whole fleet becomes confused. The Corvian Empire has the most advanced technology, Dongmin added. But they are energy beings living in artificial bodies. Disrupt their energy fields and they become helpless. President Jihoon listened to everything. The aliens had made a terrible mistake. They thought they knew humanity's capabilities, but they had only seen what humans wanted them to see. What about alien intelligence networks? He asked. We have been feeding them false information for years, Suho replied. They think our newest weapons are toys. They believe our ship designs are primitive. They have no idea how advanced human technology really is. The meeting continued for 6 hours. Plans were made, orders were given, and messages were sent to secret human bases across the galaxy. By the end of the day, every human military installation was ready for war. But first, humanity would go silent. The order went out to every human colony, every trading post, every diplomatic mission. All communication with aliens would stop immediately. All trade would end. All cooperation would cease. Humanity would withdraw from galactic society completely. On the colony world of New Busan, Administrator Hanul received the emergency orders. She read them twice to make sure she understood correctly. Then she activated the colony's defense systems and began evacuating all humans from alien-controlled areas. Pack only essential items, she told the colonists. We are going home. On the trading station Bright Horizon, Manager Sunwoo shut down all commerce with alien traders. Ships full of alien merchants found themselves locked out of human facilities. Goods that aliens needed for their economies were suddenly unavailable. But we have contracts, complained a Velothi trader. The contracts are void, Sunwoo replied coldly. Humanity is no longer doing business with murderers. In the research station Hidden Valley, scientist Juyan began destroying all evidence of joint human-alien research projects. Technology that could help alien military forces was erased from computer systems. Scientific data that aliens needed was deleted permanently. The galaxy noticed the silence within days. Alien governments tried to contact human leaders but received no response. Trading companies found that human goods were no longer available. Diplomatic messages were ignored completely. Some aliens were worried. Others were happy. Many alien politicians had always thought humans were too pushy and demanded too much respect. Now the annoying humans were finally staying quiet. Good, said Velothi High Council leader Morden. The humans have learned their place at last. Perhaps killing their diplomats taught them a lesson, agreed Thrix swarm leader Kilnex. But wiser aliens were concerned. The Draconi ambassador Tergoth had worked with humans for 20 years. He knew them better than most aliens did. This is not surrender, he warned the Galactic Council. Humans do not go quiet when they are afraid. They go quiet when they are planning something terrible. His warning was ignored. Most aliens thought humans were simply scared and hiding. Meanwhile, in secret bases across human space, the largest military operation in galactic history was beginning. Shipyards that aliens did not know existed were building new fleets. Weapons factories hidden on remote asteroids were working day and night. Soldiers who had been training in secret for decades were preparing for battle. Agent Dongmin continued his work on the Velothi homeworld. He looked like a normal human tourist, but he was actually mapping military installations and finding weaknesses in their defenses. His reports would help human forces know exactly where to strike. Agent Suho did the same work in Thrix space. He had learned to think like an insect, understanding their hive mind tactics and group behavior. His information would help humans predict how the Thrix would respond to attacks. Dr. Yunji worked 20 hours a day in her secret laboratory. She was making the final preparations for weapons that would shock the galaxy. Technologies that humanity had kept hidden for decades were finally being prepared for use. General Kyung-soo coordinated with military commanders across human space. Fleet Admiral Han was gathering the largest space fleet in human history. Colonel Wu Young was training ground forces for operations on alien worlds. Commander Seolgi was preparing stealth ships for deep infiltration missions. All across human space, the message was the same. Remember Harmony's Edge. Remember our dead diplomats. Remember that the galaxy chose war over peace. The aliens had 6 months to enjoy their victory. They used that time to divide up the galaxy among themselves, confident that the human threat was over. They made plans for conquering human colonies and taking human technology. They did not realize that every day of silence made humanity stronger. Every week that passed brought human forces closer to readiness. Every month of peace was humanity preparing for the war that would end all wars. The silence would not last forever. And when it ended, the galaxy would learn why you should never kill human peacemakers. The silence broke on a Tuesday morning, Galactic Standard Time. Fleet Admiral Heyoon stood on the bridge of the battleship Retribution's Call, watching her fleet prepare for the largest military operation in human history. Around her, 500 human warships moved through space in perfect formation. Each ship was equipped with technology that the aliens had never seen before. "All ships report ready," her communications officer announced. "Begin Operation Silent Thunder," Heyoon ordered. Across the galaxy, human forces attacked simultaneously. It was not a random assault, but a carefully planned operation that targeted specific alien military capabilities. In one coordinated moment, humanity revealed that they had been watching, learning, and preparing for this day. Commander Seulgi piloted the stealth ship Ghost Wind toward the Thrix homeworld. Her ship was completely invisible to alien sensors. The Thrix had no idea that a human vessel was approaching their most heavily defended planet. "Approaching target zone," her navigator reported. "Thrix defense fleet has no indication of our presence." The Thrix homeworld was protected by 300 warships and orbital defense platforms. It was supposed to be impossible to attack, but the aliens had never faced true human stealth technology. "Launch quantum torpedoes," Seulgi commanded. Invisible weapons streaked through space and struck the Thrix command center. The building that controlled their entire military dissolved into basic atoms. Within seconds, the Thrix fleet was flying blind, unable to receive orders or coordinate their defense. Colonel Wu Yong led the ground assault on Velathi crystal mining facilities. His soldiers wore armor that the aliens could not damage, and carried weapons that could destroy crystal formations with surgical precision. "Remember," he told his troops as they prepared to land, "we are not here to kill civilians. We are here to stop their ability to make war." The Velathi had built their military power on special crystals that amplified energy weapons. Those crystals came from mines on only 3 planets. If humans could capture or destroy those mines, the Velathi military would become powerless. Wu Yong's forces landed without resistance. The Velathi had never expected humans to attack so far inside their territory. Their defense forces were concentrated around major cities, not remote mining stations. "Teams Alpha and Beta, secure the main mining complex," Wu Yong ordered. "Teams Gamma and Delta, destroy the processing facilities. No killing unless absolutely necessary." His soldiers moved like ghosts through the crystal caves. Their armor made them nearly invisible and completely silent. Within 2 hours, they had captured the 3 most important crystal mines in Velathi space. Tactician Jamin coordinated the multi-front assault from his command center on Earth. Dozens of screens showed battles happening across the galaxy. Each attack was precisely timed to support the others. "Velathi crystal production has stopped," he reported to President Jihoon. "Thrix command structure is paralyzed. Corvian energy plants are under attack." The Corvian Empire depended on massive energy collection stations that gathered power from stars. Those stations fed energy to their entire civilization. Without them, the energy beings would be trapped in their artificial bodies, unable to function. Human ships appeared simultaneously at 7 different Corvian energy stations. The aliens were shocked to see human vessels in places they thought were impossible to reach. "How did they get past our sensor networks?" demanded Energy Admiral Kolnith. "Unknown," his subordinate replied. "Our sensors show no human ships in this sector, but the human ships were there and they were attacking." Advanced weapons struck the energy collection arrays, disrupting the flow of power throughout Corvian space. Lights went out on 100 worlds as the energy beings lost their power sources. Back on the Thrix homeworld, chaos was spreading. Without their command center, individual Thrix ships were making their own decisions. Some fled. Others attacked each other by mistake. The organized swarm became a confused mob. Commander Silgi watched the enemy fleet tear itself apart. Human technology superiority confirmed, she reported. Enemy forces unable to adapt to stealth capabilities. The aliens tried to fight back, but they were completely unprepared for the scale and sophistication of the human attack. Their intelligence had told them that humans had primitive weapons and small fleets. Instead, they faced advanced technology and overwhelming numbers. On the Velothi homeworld, High Crystal Vextar tried to understand what was happening. "How many human ships are attacking us?" he demanded. "Reports vary from 50 to 500, his military advisor replied. "Our different bases are reporting different numbers." "That is impossible. Humans only have 12 colonies and a few dozen ships." But the reports kept coming. Human forces were attacking Velothi positions across 50 star systems simultaneously. The humans had ships, bases, and weapons that the Velothi never knew existed. Agent Dongmin, still undercover on the Velothi homeworld, watched the alien government panic. For years he had been feeding them false information about human capabilities. Now they were learning the truth in the worst possible way. "Should we surrender?" asked a Velothi council member. "Surrender to humans?" Vextar replied angrily. "Never. We will fight until every crystal is shattered." Dongmin quietly recorded the conversation. The aliens still did not understand what they were facing. They thought this was just another war that they could win through determination and courage. Agent Suho was having similar experiences in Thrix space. The insect aliens were trying to reform their shattered command structure, but they kept making the same mistakes. Their rigid military system could not adapt to human tactics. "The humans fight like no enemy we have faced," admitted Hive General Tornex. "They appear where we do not expect them. They disappear when we try to fight them. They know our weaknesses better than we do." The truth was that humans had been studying alien military doctrine for decades. Every joint training exercise, every shared tactical discussion, every friendly military demonstration had been carefully observed and analyzed. Humans knew how aliens fought better than the aliens knew how humans fought. Dr. Yunji's secret weapons were performing even better than expected. The quantum disruptor cannons could destroy alien ships without leaving any debris. The stealth technology made human ships completely undetectable. The new armor made human soldiers nearly invincible. "Enemy resistance is weaker than predicted," she reported to General Kyung-soo. "Their weapons cannot penetrate our defensive systems." The aliens had made weapons designed to fight each other. They had never prepared to fight humans because they thought humans were not a threat. Now they discovered that their most advanced weapons were useless against human technology. Fleet Admiral Haeun's main fleet reached the site where Harmony's Edge had been destroyed. The wreckage of the peace station still floated in space around the dead star. It was a monument to alien treachery and human sacrifice. "All ships, this is Admiral Haeun," she broadcast. 6 months ago, our diplomats died here trying to bring peace to the galaxy. The aliens chose war instead. Today, we show them the consequences of that choice." Her fleet spread out across the star system. They were not there to fight a battle. They were there to demonstrate human power. 500 of the most advanced warships ever built formed a memorial formation around the wreckage of the peace station. The image was broadcast across the galaxy. Every alien government saw the massive human fleet honoring their dead diplomats. The message was clear: humanity had not forgotten. Humanity had not forgiven. On Earth, President Ji-hoon watched the reports coming in from across the galaxy. The first phase of Operation Silent Thunder was complete. Human forces had successfully disabled the military capabilities of all three alien empires without causing massive civilian casualties. "Casualty reports," he requested. General Kyung-soo consulted his datapad. "Human forces, 17 wounded, no deaths. Alien forces, approximately 3,000 military casualties, minimal civilian impact." Ji-hoon nodded grimly. The numbers showed the true difference between human and alien military doctrine. The aliens had murdered every human at Harmony's Edge, including doctors and diplomats. Humans had carefully targeted only military installations and avoided civilian areas. "Phase 2 begins tomorrow," he announced. "Send the surrender terms to all three alien governments." The terms were simple: complete disarmament, reparations for human losses, submission to human military oversight, and trials for the leaders who ordered the massacre at Harmony's Edge. Some aliens would accept these terms. Others would refuse and continue fighting. But the galaxy had seen enough of human capabilities to know the truth. The species they had dismissed as weak and primitive was actually the most powerful military force in known space. The war was not over yet. But its outcome was no longer in doubt. Humanity had revealed their true strength, and the galaxy would never be the same. 2 years after the destruction of Harmony's Edge, Chancellor Minji stood at the podium of the new Galactic Council chambers. The building was located on Harmony's Edge 2, a space station built in the same location where the first peace talks had failed so violently. The chamber was filled with representatives from across the galaxy. But unlike the old council, where only the strongest species had voices, this new assembly included delegates from hundreds of worlds. Small species that had been ignored for centuries now sat alongside the former galactic powers. Today marks the beginning of a new era, Minji announced to the gathered delegates, an era where peace is protected by strength, and where justice is enforced by those who have the power to ensure it. In the front row sat the former leaders of the 3 alien empires. High Crystal Vextar wore restraints that prevented him from using his energy abilities. Hive Mother Zilnath was separated from her swarm and could only speak for herself. Energy Lord Nalgor was confined to a special containment suit that limited his movements. All 3 were waiting for their trials to begin. Judge Jungi had spent months reviewing the evidence from Harmony's Edge and the subsequent war. As the Chief Justice of the new Galactic Criminal Court, he would oversee the trials of those responsible for the massacre of human diplomats. The evidence is overwhelming, he explained to his legal team. We have recordings of the aliens planning the attack. We have witness testimony from their own subordinates. We have physical evidence from the destroyed station. The trials would be broadcast across the galaxy. Every species would see justice being done according to human law, which had become galactic law after humanity's military victory. Ambassador Sunu was working with the defeated alien governments to establish reparation payments. The aliens would pay for the reconstruction of human facilities, the support of families who lost members at Harmony's Edge, and the cost of the military operation that had brought them to justice. The Velothi Treasury will provide 1 trillion credits over 20 years, he announced at a reconstruction planning meeting. The Thrix Collective will contribute raw materials and labor. The Corvian Empire will share their energy technology to benefit peaceful development. But the reparations were not just about money. The aliens would also contribute knowledge, technology, and resources to help build a better galactic civilization. They would work to repair the damage their wars had caused to dozens of innocent worlds. Director Chaewon was establishing the new galactic peacekeeping force. Unlike the old system where each species maintained its own military, the new force would be integrated and controlled by human command structure. All member species will contribute personnel to the peacekeeping force, she explained to military representatives. But human officers will command all major operations. We have proven that we can maintain peace through strength. The peacekeeping force was not just about preventing wars. It was designed to protect smaller species from being bullied by larger ones, to ensure that trade disputes were resolved fairly, and to stop any species from developing weapons that could threaten galactic peace. Many alien species were adapting well to the new order. The Draconi, who had warned about human capabilities before the war, became enthusiastic supporters of human leadership. Ambassador Tergoth was now working closely with human administrators. Humans understand something that we forgot, he told his people. True strength is used to protect the weak, not to dominate them. Smaller species that had been powerless under the old system were especially grateful for human protection. The peaceful Zorani had been enslaved by the Thrix for decades. Now they were free and had representatives in the new galactic government. Humans gave us our freedom, said Zorani speaker Melnira. We will always support their leadership. But some species still resisted human authority. Isolated groups of Velothi, Thrix, and Corvian forces continued to fight guerrilla campaigns against the new order. They called themselves freedom fighters, but most of the galaxy saw them as terrorists trying to return to the old system of endless wars. Commander Sulgi, now promoted to admiral, was responsible for hunting down these rebel groups. Her stealth ships could find hidden bases that other forces would never locate. Rebel base identified in the outer spiral, she reported during a security briefing. 50 Velothi hardliners attempting to rebuild crystal weapon production. Rules of engagement? Asked her subordinate. Capture if possible, destroy if necessary, Sulgi replied. But remember, we are peacekeepers now, not conquerors. Minimize casualties and protect any civilian populations in the area. The trials of the alien leaders began on the 3rd anniversary of the Harmony's Edge massacre. Judge Jungi presided over proceedings that were watched by billions of beings across the galaxy. The evidence was presented systematically. Video recordings showed the alien leaders planning their attack on the peace station. Audio files captured them laughing about killing human diplomats. Technical analysis proved that they had used banned weapons against civilian targets. The defendants are charged with war crimes, conspiracy to commit genocide, and violations of galactic peace accords, Judge Jungi announced. How do you plead? High Crystal Vextar stood up proudly. We did what was necessary to protect our civilizations from human expansion. The humans were weak, added Hive Mother Zilneth. We thought they would be easy to eliminate. Energy Lord Nalgor remained silent. The court notes that none of the defendants deny their actions, Judge Jungi said. They admit to planning and executing an unprovoked attack on diplomatic personnel. They admit to using banned weapons. They admit to violating every principle of civilized behavior. The trial continued for 3 months. Witnesses testified about the attack on Harmony's Edge. Survivors from the alien wars described the devastation caused by decades of fighting. Experts explained how the alien actions had violated galactic law. When the verdicts were announced, the galaxy was watching. High Crystal Vextar, you are found guilty on all charges, Judge Jungi declared. You are sentenced to life imprisonment and permanent exile from Velothi space. Hive Mother Zilneth, you are found guilty on all charges. You are sentenced to separation from your hive mind and individual confinement for 50 years. Energy Lord Nalgor, you are found guilty on all charges. You are sentenced to energy dampening confinement for 100 years. The sentences sent a clear message across the galaxy. Those who committed war crimes would face justice, regardless of their species or former power. But the new galactic order was not just about punishment. It was about building something better than what had existed before. Chancellor Minji announced the Galactic Development Initiative, a massive project to rebuild worlds damaged by the alien wars. Human technology and resources would help restore devastated planets and support refugee populations. We will not repeat the mistakes of the past, she told the Galactic Assembly. Instead of fighting over resources, we will work together to create abundance for all. The initiative included rules to prevent future conflicts. No species would be allowed to develop weapons of mass destruction. Trade disputes would be resolved through mediation rather than warfare. Military forces would be limited and subject to international inspection. Ambassador Sunu was working on the most ambitious part of the new order, the integration protocol. This program would gradually merge the governments and militaries of different species into a single galactic federation under human leadership, unity through diversity, he explained to skeptical alien representatives. Each species contributes their unique strengths to the common good. Some aliens worried that this was just conquest by another name. But humans had proven their commitment to justice and fairness. Unlike the old alien empires, which had ruled through fear and oppression, human leadership was based on protection and mutual benefit. 5 years after Harmony's Edge, the galaxy was more peaceful than it had been in centuries. Wars between species had ended. Smaller civilizations were protected from exploitation. Trade and cultural exchange flourished under human oversight. Director Chewan's peacekeeping forces had prevented dozens of potential conflicts. When disputes arose, human mediators worked to find solutions that benefited everyone involved. The threat of human military intervention kept aggressive species from starting new wars. Crime is down 60%, she reported to the Galactic Assembly. Interspecies conflicts are down 90%. Trade volume has increased by 300%. The statistics showed that human leadership was working, but the most important changes were harder to measure. Children on hundreds of worlds were growing up without fear of war. Refugees were returning to their home planets. Scientists from different species were working together on projects that benefited everyone. At the memorial service for the 5th anniversary of Harmony's Edge, President Ji-hoon spoke to representatives from across the galaxy. Our diplomats died trying to bring peace, he said. They believed that different species could work together for the common good. Today we honor their memory by proving that they were right. The memorial was held at the site where the original peace station had been destroyed. But now, instead of empty space and debris, there was a thriving community. Harmony's Edge, too, had become the center of Galactic's